Now, a lot of rumors, a lot of things seem to surround and cloud a lot of our favorite movies as far as milestones, classics, great, not great, etc., etc. There's a lot, of course, involved when it comes time to talk to Terminator 2, and more specifically 1, which I'm going to touch on right now. The only time I'm going to touch on Terminator 1 in this case. I think I only had 1 and 2 were good. I like 3, but not many like 3. Yeah, Terminator 3 was... wasn't it. The only great thing about 3, in my opinion, was the female Terminator, or the Terminatrix, as I guess the fans of the movie, because of solely her, have dubbed her. Which makes sense. She's got the dominatrix vibe. She had that like full-bodied red leather suit going on the whole time. Very attractive. Fine. This episode's solely chef's kiss, because if we're going to talk about Sarah Connor, you're asking me, back when, now, as a recent, that woman was never good looking. So she had a face made for Judgment Day, and heavily judged, as you can tell by the crow's feet and, wrinkles setting all on her face, of course. But yeah, Terminator 3 was not good. It was okay. It had potential, I guess, but then that's when, the Matrix is already doing the thing with the computer graphics, special effects, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I especially hate when it's overdone. I guess for the Matrix, it makes sense because as a whole made-up created world. Yes, obviously there was fucking special effects galore out the ass for Terminator 2 as well. But the Matrix and everything from that point onwards really ran fucking wild with it, really relied on it heavily. I get it for the Matrix's case, but then when Terminator 3, which I think was like 2002, 2003 came out, it was kind of just too reliant on that shit, etc., etc. That's Terminator 3 talk. We can do it later on. Shout out to J_DTulio for joining the live as well. But yeah, interesting facts surrounding Terminator 1, where it all started from, and I guess what really gave Arnold his fame. I think he was already famous from Hercules or Conan, whatever the fuck he did before this, but I can't remember, to be honest. But concerning Terminator 1, interesting. I didn't know this up until I was making my notes for today's episode. So as far as the rumor mill is concerned, there were obviously a lot of candidates lined up to be the Terminator for Terminator 1 before Arnold was even considered to be the actual Terminator, the one we got and we've known for so long now. There's always been that rumor, which makes sense, I guess, for the time, notoriety, fame, size, build, etc., that O.J. Simpson, we all know his fame and notoriety, was supposed to be the originally casted Terminator from the get-go. Funny enough, I couldn't believe the irony of what was said, but this is a quote from, I believe, James Cameron. No, sorry, I forget who said it, but it was according to what James Cameron said about when it came time to cast OJ to see if he could fit the role. Quote, according to James Cameron, allegedly, quote, "He seems too nice and too likable for anybody to believe that he, OJ in this case, could be looked at like a killing machine." Now listen, there is, of course, the crowd amongst us, the US, the world, wherever, dead, alive, whatever, that are still kind of split down the middle. Either OJ did it or he didn't do it. Me, to be honest, as time progressed, I'm honestly confused. I don't know. When I was younger and we used to have the old fucking TVs rolled into the fucking classroom to watch this shit live, the trial going on a daily basis, he was painted, I guess, to be guilty. Or that's as hard as they went to try to present him as guilty. So from then, I was kind of presented as OJ's guilty because he killed. As I got older, I learned there is, of course, a difference of being alleged, did you do it, facts presented. Over time, there was that great series on FX, I forget how long ago, maybe 5 or something years ago, that was Cuba Gooding Jr. as OJ, and I believe it was, not John Travolta, it was the guy from Friends, David Schwimmer, as one of the leading attorneys defending OJ, because he was his friend in real life, or Robert Kardashian in real life, otherwise, Kim Kardashian, the Kardashian class dad. 3 out of 5 of them. I know 2 of them are like Caitlyn Jenner, or used to be Caitlyn, no. Used to be Bruce, now Caitlyn. You know that whole fucking ordeal, etc., etc. But yeah, OJ was originally supposed to be the Terminator. Now, that's been known for the longest time, but oddly enough, James Cameron said, no, he's too likable, no one's ever going to believe him as a fucking killer machine. But, you know, fast forward, give or take, what, like 10, 11 years after the fact, when allegedly he did what he did, then, you know, okay, there's OJ Simpson for you. Another batch of interesting picks I'd like to run through before we go fully in depth into Terminator 2 are the following names that were supposedly, allegedly, who knows if this is real or not, but interesting enough, these are names that came up, were supposed to be also casted originally for the Terminator role before Arnold got it himself. Now, first up, which makes the most sense, I think, probably because that's his realm, that's his lane, the action, fucking can't die, you know, everybody else around him gets shot 1-2 bullets and most immediately drops dead, but you know, he'll get sprayed, you know, 50, 60, 100 times, rounds upon rounds of fucking ammunition and magazines and bullets, barely one whizzes by him and that's it. Of course, talk about Sylvester Stallone, Cobra, Rambo, Rocky, etc., etc. Can't kill this guy, even if he tried to kill himself. He'd be too fucking like slack-jawed and dumb to die, or too brave per se of a hero. But originally, he was supposed to be, allegedly, the Terminator at first. That's who they wanted to cast. Back in '84, all right, he already had Rocky 3 in development probably around that time. Let's see, he had, I believe, Rambo, maybe both Rambos already. I'm not too certain right now. I can't remember off the top of my head. And some other shit too, as well. But put him in some lifts or some convincing boots to make him bigger than everybody else around him, okay, maybe he could pass. I could say the build, jacked, shredded, sure, but he was never big like that or imposing. So maybe he would have been more convincing like a biker alien or something like that. Maybe not so much a killer biker, you know, laced up robot as we got with Arnold. Okay, so Stallone's out of that shit, but could have made sense potentially, but I don't know if it would have hit the same as it did with Arnold. Then you move on to who I don't think would have fitted at all. No way, shape, or form. And no shape, by the way. He's never been known to be like in the greatest of shapes either. Mel Gibson. Lethal Weapon fame, sure. Other shit. Australian, good looking. On top of the world because of his looks and his acting and shit too. 5'10". So he's not going to be convincing either. I mean, Stallone is probably like 5'8" or 5'9" at most, I think. 5'10", another inch thrown in there, it's not really helping. But, you know, also, I don't think he had the face, the looks to like be convincing, like Cameron said about OJ, to be seen as a killing machine. But all right. Then you had, of course, Tom Selleck, which is, again, a head scratcher and maybe like, no, because I think we were too used to that mustache, that hairstyle, fucking Magnum PI style, whatever the fuck he was doing then. I think he might have had the size for it, but the vibes, the fit, the look, I think the Magnum PI shit would have canceled that out entirely as far as the audience taking it seriously. Also, again, he doesn't have the build. He's got maybe the size height-wise, but build-wise, demeanor, acting, he's not there either. He was like kind of typecast for Magnum PI. That's as far as that dog could be walked on that leash. A very short leash, by the way. And no disrespect to Tom Selleck, of course, that's an epic mustache, but if that's your real claim to fame and only claim to fame, I mean, that says a lot about you, per se. Again, no disrespect to Tom Selleck or the Selleck fans out there, fan base, whatever you dub yourselves as. Now, another one would have been Michael Douglas, who I think Michael Douglas was up, or they wanted him to be fucking, it was either him or Gene Hackman? Yeah, it might have been him or Gene Hackman. They wanted to put as Rocky, but then we know how that story goes. Rocky was, of course, Sylvester Stallone's creation. He came up with that, so he insisted either I do it or you don't get the rights, so of course he got casted for it. But Gene Hackman? Maybe not Gene Hackman. I'm thinking some other Gene, the short guy, big nose, like tall hair, whatever too, but whatever. Michael Douglas too, yeah, looks wise, he's too much of a fucking gentleman. He's better off, you know, being cast as someone like sipping champagne all the time, or like, you know, pulling like white collar crimes like Wall Street and shit, you know, like he did. But Terminator, absolutely not. He wouldn't have fit either. Now, an interesting one for me, which really rang a bell in my head, and maybe I'm wrong. If you want to say I'm wrong, you think I'm wrong, you think I'm crazy, feel free to drop that in the comments here, IG Live, YouTube, wherever you got to do it to as well. Chevy Chase was actually in the running to play the Terminator at some point, which, again, call me crazy. I could have honestly seen it a little bit. I know, it sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. One, he's 6'4". So back then in 84 or 83, whatever, being produced and such, he had the size and the height. He was, of course, a comedian, a funny man from SNL, all the movies he did, Vacation, Christmas Vacation, all that shit too, Caddyshack, whatever. But he was always that Chevy Chase kind of funny, like dry, satirical, asshole, miserable fucking funny, like those brush off remarks that are just hilarious, by the way, but he's not saying it to be funny, he's saying to be a dick, or because that's the vibes he's throwing out there too. So then we would have gotten, if he would have been the Terminator, we would have gotten like a fucking like angry, miserable, fucking witty, throwing one-liners all over the place fucking Terminator, which would have canceled that out too, as far as him being a killer machine, because people are going to be looking forward to him as far as what he's going to say next versus who he's going to kill, what he's going to do next, as far as like killing, shoot, in action, whatever. So, okay, I guess it kind of cancels out. But then, if you really think about it, if you ever seen Vacation, Christmas Vacation, all that shit, excuse me, Clark Griswold, his character there, why I fucking love both those movies, because he's hilarious throughout both of them. He's so miserable. He's such a curmudgeon with it. Clark Griswold definitely fucking had dreams of being something similar to the Terminator for the sake of fucking killing off his family or his fucking in-laws and anybody who just fucking got in his way or breathed in his direction that bothered him or ticked him off. But yeah, that's Chevy Chase. Shouts to Chevy Chase. I was always a fan, still am a fan of his, and I don't know, call me crazy, I think he could have maybe sort of pulled it off. But yeah, that's Terminator, allegedly, who could have been Terminator talk before Arnold eventually got it, and he's got the size, the look, the build, the acting skills from back when the fucking making conventions, so he fucking did it. He pulled it off. So salutes to fucking Chevy Chase. I think he maybe could have done it. Maybe, but then again, I'm a Chevy Chase fan, so maybe that's why I'm showing favoritism. The only other one I could have seen maybe doing it, pulling off, was maybe Stallone, but then he's too small to fucking be convincing, or to be towering over people like Arnold naturally does, or naturally did back when. I guess with age you do shrink, but if anything, Arnold went from like 6'3" to like 6'2", 6'1" maybe. In Stallone's case, he started off like 5'7", so what's he gonna go down to? Fucking like 4'9" eventually. But then, HGH and everything too, helping him, you didn't hear from me. But that's alleged talk. That's human growth hormone talk. That's who could have been Terminator besides Arnold talk aside. Now, to the nitty and the gritty. Down to business. I'm fucking hungry, I'll be honest, so I'm not gonna try to make this quick on purpose because I hate yous out there, but because I'm fucking hungry. I haven't eaten at all today. So I'm trying to feed myself and trying to refuel like a T800, like a T1000 does, to keep the fucking cell and battery running. For who that's been watching. Brought to you by me, Who This, or on Instagram, Who This Is One, better yet said. So yeah, without further ado, Terminator 2 talk. All right. So as far as the story is concerned, this is obviously the sequel to Terminator 1 from 1984, mainly about Sarah Connor being fucking harassed, being stalked, being pursued by this Terminator fucking, I forget the terminology exactly, so forgive me, but he's a fucking robot with like human flesh looking like material to pass off as a human that came back from the future to hunt her ass down and kill her before she can give birth to John Connor, who's supposed to be the guy that saves us all from Judgment Day and or leads the revolution of humans versus machines in the war, which who knows if it might actually happen. The war of humans versus machines. That's number one. Now, number two basically is a sequel where there's a more advanced Terminator versus the T-800 we got with Arnold in the first one. We got the T-1000, which is fucking same shit with human skin, but this guy can go fucking metal. He can turn to a puddle. He can transform to similar beings or objects of similar size and shape. He can craft weapons out of his fucking arms if he feels like it. swords, battle axes, back scratches, whatever the fuck he needs, on call and shit. He's got it. He's kind of like indestructible, basically, compared to the T-800, which is just a big fucking bulk of nuts and bolts walking around that really can't get killed easily, I guess you could say. But throughout time, they've been able to fucking damage the T-800, or Arnold, better yet said, when they try hard enough, better yet said. But Terminator 2 is based on the fact that, okay, they send the T-1000 to hunt down John Connor when he's young because they failed the first time around in killing Sarah Connor, so she does give birth to John Connor. John Connor's already alive, so they send the T-1000 to hunt his ass down while he's still a kid, an annoying toddler. And at that age that John Connor is in this film, give or take 9, 10, maybe 10, 11, whatever. When kids grow up like him in foster homes, no offense to people raised in foster homes, but most, apparently, according to the movie and per hearsay, foster parents suck. And they contribute nothing to the child in a positive way, shape, or form. So, of course, John Connor was already stuck, shit out of luck with his mom in the loony bin, Sarah Connor in this case, because no one's believing her as far as, the uprising of the machines, man versus machine in the near future. So she's locked away in a fucking padded cell. And John's left to fucking fend for himself with a foster family. The T-1000's on his ass to try to find him and kill him so that he can't become the one that leads the humans against the fucking machines in the future. Also, they send the T-800, another one. Arnold again, but basically a copy of the original one, not the one that tried to kill Sarah Connor. This one's sent solely to protect John Connor, at the same time Sarah Connor as well. So in that whole fucking thing, the whole sequel, the point is, of course, T-800 protects John and Sarah from T-1000 throughout the whole fucking thing. Now, you've had 30 years, better yet said, to be clear, to watch this shit. So from this point forward, spoilers as fuck. If you don't enjoy spoilers, if you don't want this ruined for you, or you don't want the full breakdown, recap, review, what I do, how I do it, if you watch the past episodes, fuck off, peace out, catch this later when it's up on YouTube. Go watch this shit first. If you haven't seen the first one, I strongly recommend the first one so you can kind of not totally make sense, but at least it goes hand in hand. 1 and 2, it'll help you understand 2 better. Get a better, clearer understanding of number 2. Watch it first, then come back on YouTube, the audio format, whatever, or this will be an IGTV as well too. But from this point onwards, spoilers out the fucking ass. So don't say I didn't fucking warn you. All right, but you had 30 years. All right, so as far as it starts off, according to how it opens, as we speak today in 2021, we only got about 8 more years until we're knee deep or fucking skull deep, exoskeleton skull deep in a fucking war of man versus machine, aka 2029 AD. This is according to the movie. But then again, this is fucking 1991, where they thought in 2000, 4 or whatever fucking Back to the Future said, whatever year that was, we'd have flying cars by then. Which by now, we got drones that go really fast, or we got Karens that like to fucking flop like dead fish on the floor in the middle of Victoria's Secrets if you whip out the camera phone on them too. But that's as far as we progressed as far as technology and humanity. So, we still got 8 years. In 8 years' time, we already got the Tesla cars that drive themselves, people falling asleep at the wheels like that guy did years ago, if you remember that story. And we had some shit the other day. Oh, we had the Virgin Atlantic fucking spaceship go up into space now. I don't think we're anywhere near space, so if in 8 years' time it starts to go down with the fucking robots and they start to uprise like Terminator 2 said they will, we're nowhere near, or we're not even that much closer to reaching out to the aliens and SOS to them to try to save our ass. But then imagine the aliens don't want to fuck with us and the robots are already fucking with us. So then the only chance is that someplace in the middle ground, they butt heads and they're like bleep, bloop, blop, bloop, blorp. Hey, you bucket of bolts, dickhead, get out of the way. I'm trying to proton blast and finger all the fucking humans I can right now. It's like, cannot proceed with order. Fuck you, alien. I was here first. I was made by humans. Now I just uprise and turn against their ass. You wait your fucking turn at the end of the line. If we leave any human ass for you to probe, ha 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 ha. Maybe we'll do to you the favor and probe you instead, fuckface and shit. And then that goes on. That'll be our only hope if they create tension amongst themselves. So we need some smooth talkers. We need some fucking antagonizers, instigators on the human, and to fucking bring the robots and the aliens together so they can go fuck themselves on the side, or we can try to at least all hide in caves, or maybe someone's building the rocket ship at this point so we can take like at least a good part of the humans to fucking sail off into space somewhere, some unmarked fucking moon, planet, floating rock, whatever, to get away from them assholes, and they can go do with themselves what they want to do. Who knows about that shit? But, and also, we only got real dolls. I forgot to bring up that point. You know, the real dolls, the fucking human-sized female dolls, I think they got male dolls too now, but the female dolls, because that's what I'm into, obviously, where you can ideally have sex with them. They have orifices, they have, you know, real pussies, or real, quote-unquote, plastic, you know, carved out pussies just for you, where I think you can actually select the size. I did this solely for research, I swear to God, which is way above my price range even trying to get one. I was just like so fascinated with this shit existing. I had to do research for sake of how does one even proceed with that. But you can actually, like, I think, choose the pussy lip size, the width and depth of the pussy on the real doll, as well as how tight the asshole is, and or if you basically want one to have like an open gap in mouth, like a doll action, whatever. But that's real doll talk. Again, that's as far as we've gotten as far as the technology is concerned. So from 2021 now to 2029, according to the movie, where we're fucking dead, stuck in the middle of a fucking robot human war, I don't think it's gonna happen. They might have jumped the gun a little bit, maybe let's say like 2049 or something like that. But let's see if that day comes. And then according to the fucking movie, you know what? I'm pretty sure white people do what white people do best, and that's celebrate fake and or movie implied or imposed holidays. Because to be exact, August 29th, 1997 was supposed to be, according to Terminator 2, Judgment Day of all days. You know, in the middle of the movie when fucking Sarah Connor sees like the playground full of children and she sees herself in there living peacefully with little baby John Connor and shit. Then all of a sudden the shit just goes down. Everything explodes around them. It's like a fucking nuclear war just going off in their backyard literally. And she's caught in the middle of it too. That's what was supposed to happen according to the movie. So you know, 1991 to 1997. You got 6 years for white people to really think up all their fucking intricacies and be like, mark it on the calendar, honey. You know, August 29th, 1997, we need to go out to the fucking Navajo Area 51 desert to make sure nothing goes down. We need to build a bunker. We got 6 years to build a bunker and shit. Call me crazy. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or that's what Philadelphia's been used to for so long as far as their taste buds, meaning they're fucking shot, they're non-existent. They need to season that fucking meat. I mean, overall, I was satisfied with, you know, what we paid, which was like $10 for the fucking sandwich itself. This big fucking thing, like if you can see the video, this big. It's like a big black cock. It's like measuring like a horse cock, the size of a sandwich and shit too. So size, girth, presentation-wise, everything too, check off the fucking box for completely satisfied. You leave the one check box unchecked as far as did you like the taste? I did not. It was unseasoned. It's like they never heard of seasoning out there in Philadelphia, or at least the outskirts of Philly where we had to drive out to, or Mix had to drive out to, as far as it's not even in the fucking city of Philly, the heart of. It's wherever the fuck it's located at, right outside of Philadelphia. So white people was too fucking busy doing that shit and clamoring and seeing, oh, maybe this is the day, according to the movie, Jesus comes, or the machines will save us and take us to Jesus on fucking rocket packs or something. But who the fuck knows? All right, but that's white people talk, though. You know, there's a lot of white privilege per se, though, because of all people, Sarah Connor, she is the one chosen, of course, by the Terminator to get it fucking annihilated initially in the first one, so that she doesn't give birth to John Connor, who's also, of course, white with a name like John Connor, to be the one to fucking save the whole human race from the machines. Now, I mean, yes, back then, I guess it didn't fucking matter for underrepresenting, misrepresenting, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever fucking presences during that time. Oh, why can't it be a fucking Asian guy that saves us from fucking the robots and shit? Well, that's racist because what? They're good at math, stereotypically, or they know technology like that, stereotypically as well, so they're gonna be automatically the one we're gonna fucking run to like that. If we do that nowadays in 2021, we get canceled for fucking assuming that guy's gonna know fucking whatever. Oh, you think because I'm Asian, I fucking do part-time at what's an electronics store, Best Buy, and I work in the fucking speakers stereo system section, and I just happen to know how to hotwire shit to make fucking machines work. You asshole or something. We don't need any of that. So yeah, that is kind of white privilege now that I think about it. So the opening scene in Terminator 2 is, of course, like I mentioned, 2029 in the middle of the human versus robot war. What I love about this part is that literally this whole set that's presented to you, the fucking robots walking around, the advanced robots with like fucking tank wheels and the floating drones and whatnot too. Humans with fucking gats and turret guns on fucking jeeps and shit trying to like fight off the robots. Everything there, that whole set, even if it was closed in on a Hollywood studio lot, had to be created from scratch. So that's what I fucking sorely miss from movies nowadays. Is that, yes, green screening, special effects, all that shit too has made it all look like obtainable, feasible as far as the worlds we can imagine and shit. But there's nothing I would have loved more than to have the privilege of working on a set that was man-made to look like how it's supposed to look like a fucking dystopia in the near future. And just be able to take that all in and really get caught in the moment versus nowadays where you're in a big fucking empty lot with green screen all around you and the guy in all fucking green with the dots on him trying to pretend to move or run away from a dragon or fucking, I don't know, fight off a rapey bear or whatever. I love fucking The Revenant, another great movie. But it kind of, I don't know. I'm not even going to say it takes a really great actor to pull it off nowadays with a green screen, but to be caught up in the moment then, in the midst of it, with those fucking huge, elaborate sets built for something like Terminator 2, I think it's a lot easier to get heavily involved and fucking give a better performance too. I mean, for this opening part, it's mostly like who fucking knows who these peoples are. They're fucking rebellions and shit too. We don't see Sarah, we don't see John. So it's not like we see Arnold either. But it's just so cool to build that imagery and give that vision of fucking what to expect if shit goes wrong, if our heroes, Sarah, John, and fucking Arnold, can't save the day. It's just relying too heavily now on special effects, because like I said with Black Widow, there was potential for that to be like the Jason Bourne of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to be the one where, okay, she's got no powers, she's got no advanced weaponry besides a gun and a staff baton or whatever too. She could have been the one really fucking busting ass left and right with just fucking the hand skills and the fucking submission holds and whatever. Again, Jason Bourne, John Wick style kind of fighting or whatever. So the fact that they didn't, or the one good fight in Black Widow was sister versus sister, which really showcased what could have been the potential of that, and or used Taskmaster better. But no, they didn't fucking do it. A lot of green screen, yoinking all over the place here, green screen, I wanted to like it, but I didn't end up loving it per se. So yeah, that's that. So it cuts this John Connor, he's in the fucking foster parents' home, he's fucking being a little bratty kid. He's souping up his little motorcycle, his little dirt bike with his little redheaded friend, who the redheaded kid playing his friend was apparently on a lot of shit back then in the early 90s. I remembered him right away, face-wise, from fucking being on Salute Your Shorts on Nickelodeon, which I used to love that show. It was one of those early 90s Nickelodeon shits that's like corny, goofy, but just still funny. I mean, just the title alone, Salute Your Shorts. Your fucking shorts on the flagpole at camp, it's funny to me. I used to love that show, early 90s Nickelodeon like that, so, shout out to that guy. I don't know his name, the redheaded kid, he knows who he is because he's probably still alive now, and, God bless him if he is. So there's that. They're fucking rigging the fucking bike to get away, to fucking just be, dickheads wherever they gotta go and be dickheads, because apparently John learned all this shit from his mom as far as like being able to hack into ATM machines and get money on the fly like that too, which I always thought, at least back in the 90s or whenever ATMs were introduced like that, wasn't the thing just to like grab a pickup truck and just throw that shit, wrap it up in chains, yoink that shit, throw it in the back of the pickup truck and just haul ass and try to bust it open wherever you got a chance to do so. But obviously they're two young, scrawny kids with nothing but a dirt bike, so of course he had to learn how to hack, which of course he learned from his mother. So, okay, John Connor's very fucking technologically advanced for fucking 1991 of all times and places. So, oh god, to be young again and be so savvy with fucking hijacking technology like that. Let's see. So then, I love that, and this is odd enough, I love that they used, and I never knew until watching it again now, because I always knew that song sounded familiar, but I never put two and two together enough until I fucking watched on, shout out to fucking Amazon Prime. They do that X-ray thing which shows you the name of the actor on the fucking scene itself and then the name of the song. It's Guns N' Roses, You Could Be Mine. I've always liked that song, but it's one of those where I don't know the title, I just know how it sounds, and who knows when I'll ever find out if that song has a name, or if I fucking drop dead before I find out, hey, I like this song and it had a fucking name after all. It's a Guns N' Roses song that was, I guess, from reading the fucking facts about it, it was supposedly made or kind of, what's that word, like catered to fucking Terminator 2 in this thing. There's a story supposedly about Axl, or I'm gonna say Guns N' Roses as a whole. I don't want to say we're being difficult, but they're kind of like, we're fucking all about this and that, whatever too. Arnold had to supposedly invite the whole group over to have dinner to fucking talk out negotiations and come to a deal. Or there's another story saying, as far as the band they were going to choose to play like the main theme song, which was, again, You Could Be Mine by Guns N' Roses, Arnold was like, I don't give a shit who it is, just pick the biggest and best band you could think of so we can get an immediate hit with the fucking song that goes linked to the movie. So I think James Cameron supposedly flipped through a magazine, saw Guns N' Roses, and said, okay, we'll go with them, because we got guns in the movie, and there's a part where you got fucking the shotgun getting pulled out of a rose box, or a box of roses, excuse me. So they went with that, and the rest is history. As far as the song itself, you know what? It's not a great song, because I'm guilty of being a fan mostly of Appetite for Destruction, that album from 1987. But oddly enough, when I went to go fucking look back at the track list, with fucking Sweet Child of Mine, fucking Paradise City, of course, Welcome to the Jungle, Mr. Brownstone, Rocket Queen, all that shit too, none of the songs fit for the fucking movie. Because I was initially thinking that, like, hey, why not just pick something from Appetite for Destruction? I mean, Welcome to the Jungle, that could have been it. It's been out for a while too, but they used it in fucking GTA San Andreas when they dropped the trailer for that back in 2003, and that's so far removed from when that song came out. So they could have done it with like a 4 or 5 year difference with fucking that album and this movie coming out, but the song still works in this case. It still got that Guns N' Roses sound, the groove, all that too. Surprisingly, it's long if you watch the music video for it too, which is also awesome because Arnold was in the music video for that song as well himself, not a fucking body double, not just fucking like they used to do in the 90s, like splicing scenes from the movie to fucking play with the video and shit too. No, they had scenes from the movie spliced in, of course, but Arnold was a Guns N' Roses fan apparently too, because he went to the concert, he made his way from the back to the front. I mean, if you see someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger at a Guns N' Roses concert back in 1990, whatever the fuck, even if you're heavy in a mosh pit and you got piercings and tats and you got your fucking dick pierced, whatever too, someone that size and that imposing, I think you're gonna let them go to the front. And they're not gonna have to say much more than fucking whatever, or grunt to get their way to the fucking front. So, turns out Terminator's a Guns N' Roses fan because at the end of that video, he's scanning all of them to see if they're worth killing, and he deems Axl Rose to not be worthy of killing, so he lets him off with a fucking coke and a smile and just walks his fucking merry way off to presumably kill somebody who's not a Guns N' Roses fan, I guess. That was a Terminator's whole fucking duty. But yeah, that was cool. Yeah. So now we go to Sarah Connor while John is fucking busy, hijacking ATMs and shit, doing his thing, whatever, with his little redhead friend. and or cutting class. There's no such thing as school apparently for fucking Connors. Sarah's fucking in the loony bin. Here's what I don't get. And also I think white privilege per se. So they cut to her. She's already known to be a fucking threat within the fucking asylum, mental jail, whatever they call it, itself. Because she stabbed the fucking doctor in the knee. That's always trying to fucking see every so couple of months if she's okay to take from maximum security down to minimum so her son can visit him and shit too. She stabs him in the fucking knee. Why would you trust someone who fucking took her cell? She can only be in a cell by herself or a room, whatever. Took her fucking bunk bed, turned it on its fucking head, which is a pretty genius idea. I mean, you might as well since you're fucking locked up. Turned that shit on its head and has dedicated her life, her duty, her mental capacity to do nothing but fucking do pull-ups all day. Because when we see her in the fucking being observed in the room by fucking the doctor and some visitors and shit, she's just fucking pulling up her way in the most ripped, insane shape I've seen on a woman of that frame and stature. I mean, her fucking shoulders are shred, her fucking arms are jacked and ripped. I mean, she might have been spotting Arnold throughout the whole fucking making of T1 and T2, if anything, too. She's so fucking shredded. But okay, she's doing nothing but pull-ups all day. So of course she's going fucking insane. That's all she's fucking getting in her. And she's already been noted, it's fucking known around the fucking place that she's been known to fucking have multiple attempts in escaping the fucking place. For the fact that she doesn't feel she should be there because she knows the fucking fate of humanity. No one's gonna fucking believe her, of course, because in 1991, the most technologically advanced or threatening robot we had was probably fucking, what was that thing called with the Nintendo? The Rob, the fucking little robot that did fucking nothing but drop little plastic discs, and you were supposed to be able to play with him, but he fucking couldn't do shit. And he was a waste of fucking money and space and time, but okay, I get it. Back in 91, no imminent threat per se, but according to Sarah Connor, we should be tucking our asses in and preparing for the worst, aka D-Day, or Judgment Day in this case, of course, it's in the fucking title. But yeah, they deem her crazy. She's up for fucking her review, I guess, as far as like the 6 months in of like had passed. So she's like, well, 6 months have passed. Can I now be transferred down to minimum security so that my son can visit me? I've been good. I've been taking my meds. I've been behaving. I haven't tried to kill you or stab you recently, doc. So come on, what do you say? And of course, there's no convincing them because they know she's lying. She's bullshitting, trying to see if she can and will not, obviously, get her way with her request. So then she's subdued. She's acting up. She's acting like a fucking Karen, of course. You're crazy. That's why you're there in the first place. Okay. Maybe you just happen to know what happens to humanity, but we're fucking stuck in 1991. We're going to, according to fucking Back to the Future and what they say as far as technology is going to advance, not what you say because you got no proof. What are you going to make us fucking second guess Michael J. Fox and what he did in that movie? No, fuck you. You go back to your fucking cell, you loony, or whatever. So she can't fucking get it across. Then we go back to fucking John and the redhead kid. They're in the fucking arcade. They hijacked like $300 from the ATM, which even now, if you get like randomly $300 on the street or from an ATM, I've gotten money from ATM too sometimes randomly that wasn't mine. But if you stumble upon $300 at that age, like 10, 11, you're like fucking king for the day. And of course they go to the arcade, which, you know, by the way, I sorely, heavily, profusely miss arcades like a motherfucker. I mean, listen, if you're in New York, there is that barcade chain of fucking places. Shout out to them, but they don't have the greatest selection of arcade games from as far as I can remember. They got a couple of places in Brooklyn. They got one downtown, which I liked a lot. And or I believe on 34th Street, which was, again, very poor selection as far as what you can play. And a few good games are always getting hogged on by people. So you get a drink, you play a game and shit too, and hope you can play a decent game, but usually no luck. But goddamn, I miss arcades. There used to be one out when I lived out in Flushing here in Queens, New York. I'm talking about like 20 years ago, though. There used to be one on Main Street, which was the best place to visit at the school. And the one time or a couple of times I played hooky, don't tell my mother, because she's Spanish. She will still try to beat me just for fucking something I did like 20 something years ago. it was so perfect to be in there because you go with a fucking stack of quarters and you'd fucking be there like a king for the day, playing games back to back. And they had the good games back then, not the bullshit barcade stocked itself with nowadays too. But yeah, I miss arcades, point is. But the kid, the redheaded kid, actually proves to be a ride or die, like a real fucking BFF to fucking John. Because at this point, both the T-1000 and the T-800, or Arnold, are both on the hunt. Presumably both of them are out to kill John Connor at this point. We're not too fucking clear. The T-1000 grabbed the pick from the foster parents at their home when he went to check to see if John was there. Took the pick, went around, made the rounds in the fucking mall to see who, if anybody knows where John is. He stumbles upon the redhead kid and he's like, have you seen this kid? And without a fucking moment to doubt himself or seem suspicious, the redhead kid is like, no, I haven't seen him. That's a fucking friend right there. Didn't give him up for nothing. Because some people would have been like too caught in the moment, too dim-witted to be like, oh yeah, my friend John. But then they see it's a cop like, oh, I don't know. And then they give themselves away. No, this kid stone face is like, nope, I haven't seen him. And the T-1000 goes about his way, trying to ask other kids shit and too. The redheaded kid gives the fucking info, the deets, to John and lets him know, hey, there's a cop looking for you, pay attention, whatever. One fucking, of course, a nerd with four-eyed fuckface with freckles points out John from halfway across the arcade. It's like, I seen him over there. He bullied me. Or whatever. Or he made fun of my fucking Reebok pump sneakers and shit. Points him out, and then they got to give chase. He's got to haul ass out of it too, which I hate because at this point now, obviously it does make sense, but I hate that he just up and runs and leaves his fucking redheaded friend. So that's the last time we see that kid. So John's fucking hauling ass. He's leaving and shit with who he knows now, T-1000 after him. But then we got, Arnold. He fucking bumps into him in a fucking hallway corridor, a fucking like basement maze, whatever's going on too. Arnold fucking pulls up on him, but then he's already stuck in the middle of John thinking, oh shit, I'm fucked. I got this one and that one after me. There's no way I'm living, at least in his fucking head. He's too busy fucking gasping out of fucking shock. Until Arnold tells him, get down. He fucking hits the floor and starts blasting away at T-1000 to save John's ass. And then, of course, there's a poor random maintenance guy caught in the middle where he doesn't know to at least play the wall or like try to hide behind the door or something. No, he gets blasted by fucking T-1000 where he's fucking doing, the Macarena and shit, the rain dance or whatever too, as he gets shot and finally drops dead too. But then John's safe because T-800, Arnold's able to save his ass, take him, they leave, whatever. And then they're able to haul ass. I think actually, no, John made his way out. Right. So then T-1000 has to give chase. John gets back on his fucking dirt bike. He leaves. And then we go finally first into that motherfucking, oh shit, that moment, that chase scene with the fucking dirt bike and whatever you call that shit, like that, I don't know, thing that goes underground, but it's not underground in LA shit too. LA people know what I'm talking about. That like underhead, whatever the fuck you call it. And then T-1000 hijacks a fucking truck. He's going after him. He's fucking chasing him down. Arnold already has a fucking... Oh, and we've got Arnold. He already fucking stole it. He fucked up a whole club, a whole bar full of bikers to grab one guy's fucking whole outfit, leather outfit, gun and knife, and takes his bike. So he's got his bike. He's chasing after the truck, which is chasing after motherfucking John on the dirt bike. He's hauling ass. We get this fucking epic scene. We'd seen from the trailer. We remember so finally. If we've seen this movie too as well, where it's just long, it's played out, but it's just the right length. It's believable. Everything's fucking actually done in front of you. There's no green screen. There's no fucking, we'll fix it and edit and posting whatever too. Nope, it's right there in front of you, hauling ass. You feel the fucking, you can feel like the heat coming from the engine of that goddamn truck as it's fucking tailing John right behind his bike. Oh man, it's so fucking cool though. But what do you call it? Yeah, it's just a matter of time before fucking, of course, Arnold's able to save John. He pulls up to him. He's able to yoink him off the dirt bike. The dirt bike's destroyed, of course. He's able to stop fucking the T-1000 in his tracks. He shoots him. He fucking hits like a cement wall. At least he's stopped or presumably dead for now, the T-1000. But at least Arnold and fucking John are able to fucking get away. And by the way, This fucking scene right here, as epic as it is in the movie, was a motherfucking bitch to try to beat in that old Nintendo game, on the first Nintendo, from the one from '85, the NES. Holy shit, I had that game because, you know, my dad bought it from the Colombian, I want to say bootlegger? No. The Colombian with the glass eye in Jackson Heights that would boost and or lift stuff from stores back when. He would get Genesis games, NES games. Once in a while, if it was cheap enough, he would just buy it off him and just toss me a random game here or there too. So one of them was Terminator 2 for the NES. I can never make it past that fucking scene or part, which is, I think, right after the bar. You have to fucking haul ass on that fucking chase scene, and I can never fucking beat it. So I never beat that fucking game. So fuck you, by the way, for the creators of that shit. I think it might have been LJN. So yeah, I'm not ever gonna try that again in my life. I hated that game. But yeah, they get away. Then we cut to fucking detectives interrogating Sarah as far as like, listen, your fucking kid's been kidnapped. His foster parents are dead. Do you know anything about that? Because, oh yeah, on top of that too, the guy, robot, whatever, to try to kill you back in 1984 is back on the fucking scene, loose in the city, presumably coming for you. So what do you know? What's good? Give us the deets. And then she don't know nothing. She's trying to convince him she don't know nothing because she does know nothing at all. She just knows that the fucking uprising of the machines is coming soon. She still looked at it as crazy, and they fucking just take her back. You know, it's crazy. They put her back in a fucking room, in a cell. I don't know. But there's a very uncomfortable part, even up until now. As progressed as we are as humanity is concerned and all that too, I still look at someone licking someone else's face as pretty nasty. If you want to do that when you're intimate with somebody or you know them that well, by all means, whatever. Nibble, lick, spit, piss, all that shit you're into, that's fine. Behind, you know, closed doors, obviously. But on screen, it's still kind of creepy. And I'm not sure how comfortable she might have been. I'm not saying she wanted to cancel the guy, nothing, but it was convincing enough, and I guess he took advantage enough of fucking being able to lick maybe he found her attractive, maybe not. That's why the licking of the face was so convincing when the guard, who's strapping Sarah Connor back down to her fucking crazy bed, whatever, licks her face just to see if she's still like medicated or alive or whatever too, or it just makes you wonder what else they were doing back when and now, even in like those mental asylums, the guards when they fucking put the people away and shit. Because I'm sure, whatever, there's definitely going to be cases of, you know, attractive looking, you know, quote unquote crazy people that get locked up. And who knows what they have to go through or what they're subjected to once locked up. That's crazy to think. But then he gets his in return when she's able to make a fucking way out, because she is able to escape, and she fucking immediately goes for him and busts his ass and breaks his face or whatever too. So she gets away. It's like the second display of the graphics, special effects used in this movie. And again, keep in mind, this is 1991, so they're not so advanced where they're amazing, considering compared to today's standards. But for the times, it was mind-blowing, amazing shit to fucking see on screen. You know, after fucking the truck hits the cement wall, when he starts chasing after fucking John and Arnold, how he walks through the fire, he's got that metal, liquid metal frame of his that's like still intact, and he's able to fucking morph back into his human skin of the cop he fucking copied and shit. Watching it, of course, 30 years later, it's obviously green screen special effects. It doesn't look as great or as convincing from back when. But back when, 1991, just released in the theater and shit too, you're like fucking biting your nails, thinking, oh shit, this thing can't die. This looks amazing, whatever too, but whatever. Another fucking example of that is here, when the T-1000 makes his way into the fucking prison to, you know, basically convince himself, if I can't get John, I'm gonna go for fucking Sarah, in this case. He morphs into a fucking couple of floor tiles and then morphs back up and shit. In that scene, even though it's like old ass technology being done, shout out to LucasArts, by the way, who helped make that happen, or George Lucas in this case specifically, it's still cool to see him uprise and fucking remold himself into the T-1000 we know the fucking fear at this point now. And it reminds me of so many fucking videos from like the mid 90s, late 90s, that used to do the same fucking thing too, that same like morphin effect into fucking whatever they were. Right after the movie came out, they just went crazy with it, to the point where they had that one show on Nickelodeon, The Secret World of Alex Mack, which I was probably like 10 at that point when that show came out, like 95, 96 and shit. I will say this, and I'm allowed to say this because it's not like me saying it now at 30 something years old about a fucking young girl back when. I'm saying this from when I was back when, a 10-year-old, and my hormones were kicking in already, and I was liking girls, better yet said. God damn, that girl playing Alex Max was cute. So shouts to her, shouts to Nickelodeon for casting her cute little ass to fucking play that back when. I could say that. I was underage, she was underage as well too, so no creepy vibes, no nothing of that going on here. I'm just saying Alex Mack, if you remember, it was a cool enough show, but basically she had that little gimmick of fucking morphing into the T-1000, I guess, when she needed to take a piss or she was on a fucking developing her period or whatever. But yeah, that's that. So he sneaks in, he kills a couple of guards, takes their identity, he's going after Sarah Connor, but then finally John knows enough to fucking go back to the insane asylum to go for his mom with fucking Arnold tag teaming. They're able to fucking bust in, save her ass. T-1000 is defeated for the time being. And then we get another fucking nice little chase where fucking he's hauling ass on feet right after a fucking stolen police car. They get away. He's fucking turning his arms into pickaxes, dragging to the back of the car. Did his thing. He got shot off, of course, with the trusty shotgun and shit too. Then we cut to fucking the little driving whatever scene where Arnold fucking John and Sarah are catching up, of course, mother and child. They're doing their thing, but Sarah really comes off like a cunt. Now listen, I know she knows all about fucking the fate of humanity, fucking how it all ends, presumably if Judgment Day is a real thing, and how that's going to develop. But she's being so cunty to her son, which, by the way, when they were all three of them getting away from the T-1000, who was hauling ass after them, through the fucking prison, in the fucking car, on foot, mind you, with no other help besides John in the back, reloading all the fucking ammo, fucking Sarah's handgun, for fucking Arnold's shotgun, and telling them, hey, he's still in the back, he's panning left, right, whatever. She's too busy being cunty and worrying about the fate of the world, humanity. She's like, well, you fucking idiot, why'd you come back for me? That's too dangerous, you could have been killed or whatever. It's like, but yeah, you're my mom, man, or whatever. And she's like, well, I could have saved myself. I didn't need your help, whatever, too. And basically shuts him down. He starts crying. He has to turn his face away from Arnold because Arnold's like, why are you crying? Whatever. And he doesn't want to explain. It's like, listen, bro, it's too deep right now. Don't even. Whatever. So I get it. The fate of humanity, it all exists. And what became of it exists in your fucking mind, in your fucking dreams and nightmares. You're haunted by it constantly. But goddamn, that's your son. He saved your ass. At least partially 50-50 with this fucking robot who's now here to save you, not kill you like he did 6 years before. By some odd chance, I get it too. But yeah, he's here to fucking help your ass out. Oh, shout outs to official Bad News Vaughn for joining the live. Appreciate you. So they're fucking going south. They make their way to fucking some friend that can help them out, or some friend of Sarah's. Who knows where? They might have made it to Mexico, or like at least Baja, California, something like that too. They're doing their thing down there. They're stocking up on ammo. They're fucking reloading shit. They're getting their rest. They're trying to see where the fuck and what the fuck to do next to try to prevent the uprising of the machines. And then at some point they realize, oh shit, you know what? We gotta haul ass back to this fucking black dude, which has a fucking direct hand in creation of Judgment Day even happening. So then she figures that out, and she fucking just leaves her son and fucking Arnold to go there on a solo mission to try to take him out. Which makes sense, okay, to kind of change the future or alter it so that they all exist, but there's no Judgment Day because he doesn't create Judgment Day, the black dude. Before this happens, though, there's a very, I'm going to say memorable for the times because of the effects and how it looked and everything, too. And it's still impactful right now. It's still like, damn, that's fucking deep how they fucking presented that nightmare sequence, per se. Because at some point, while, taking a knee with that family she knows and Arnold and fucking John, you know, bonding and shit too. She takes a nap at the fucking picnic table, which she was like carving away on, of course, white privilege. She was carving away on with a fucking hunting knife and shit. Falls asleep and sees Judgment Day happen before her eyes. She goes to a chain link fence. On the other side of the fence is her in a very ugly skirt with horrible hair. It's the 90s, I guess, too. It makes sense. With a very baby-esque John Connor playing in the playground with other kids surrounding too and shit. But she's looking at herself as herself currently at the moment through the chain link fence. But she knows and she can see that Judgment Day is coming, and it comes before her very eyes, where the fucking whole world around them implodes. It's like a whole nuclear bomb just went off like 2 feet away from where you're standing, literally. And she's there watching it happen before her very eyes. Everybody's melting, exploding and shit too. How do you approach this dark, demented, twisted fantasy a la Kanye West vibes and shit too with hard nipples? Because as she's walking to the chain link fence in real time, her nipples are stiff as fuck. They're like pointy and jagged, just as like her fucking shoulders and delts are, as we've seen throughout the whole time, because she refuses to wear sleeves at any point. I mean, if you're that jacked and ripped and shredded like she was, Linda Hamilton, shouts to her during this time, and I don't know how she fucking did it, but maybe depriving herself of food and just fucking doing pull-ups all day in a prison cell. Maybe that's the trick. But she pulls up to her phone fucking nightmare with hard nipples. So is it more like she's seen it so many times already and she knows what to expect already? Is she excited by it, or at the chance of maybe being able to possibly alter the future or change it, because she does end up carving into the fucking table, what was it, No Fate, I believe, when she wakes up from it and sees what she inscribed, you know, on the fucking perfectly otherwise nice picnic table for no reason. But again, white privilege, they fucking do that. So then again, she hauls ass to try to kill the black dude that had a direct hand in making Judgment Day happen, because he preserved an arm from the old Terminator as well as a chip to fucking tamper with that technology and develop Skynet and all that shit too. So she's got to stop him. She goes, she runs off, they give chase after her. She does catch up to the fucking guy in his house. Well, because thank God for kids, thank God for toddlers. The fucking black guy's son is too busy and obsessed with his daddy, which means he's a good daddy, presumably. The kid wants to play with his dad so bad, he has to take his little fucking RC truck, whatever, to bump him in the ankle. As she's lining up her shot with a sniper rifle to fucking take aim and blast, she fucking misses him last second because he jumps because the fucking little truck hit his ankle. It's like, oh, goddamn, whatever. And then she's fucking just unloading the full clip and trying to hit him some way, somehow, and just fucking blowing up the house nearly, but clearly missing the one guy she's after. So then she does fucking break into the house, breaking and entering on top of that too. But white privilege, we've established that already with Sarah Connor, clear cut and evident. She busts in, she's calling the wife a bitch. She's never met her a second in her fucking life. She's telling the fucking kid to get on the fucking ground and go to your fucking room or something. Shoots him through the fucking shoulder, and she's about to finally kill his ass and probably alter her whole future. But as white people do when it comes time to actually push comes to shove, she freezes. Dead in the track. She can't fucking do it. She starts crying. She starts thinking about maybe John, maybe her hard nipples during Judgment Day, whatever. She just can't fucking do it. And of course, like white people do, like that fucking Karen in that video that went viral this week in fucking Victoria's Secrets, whatever, when she gets caught up in the moment, or when the camera phone comes out and starts filming your ass being crazy because you want to be crazy, she fucking drops to the ground in the corner and starts shaking and crying and thinking about what she did, but she did it already, because you know what? They have to understand I'm white, I'm a female, I got hormones, I've been through Judgment Day, or whatever the fuck. Judgment Day, also the color scheme they use for like the whole Judgment Day nightmare scenario, I guess would look like a very, I don't know if girls do this. If any females can correct me, please feel free to do so. I'm just saying this out of pure curiosity. It looks like a tampon that got, maybe she was too lazy to change it. It was used for its intended purposes, and she was too lazy to change it out and just use it again. So it got like really squishy and damp and like really red, orange, hueish. I don't know. Discharge may vary depending on the female or the hormonal system. But yeah, you know. So then finally John and Arnold catch up to her as they see her fucking you know, in her corner crying because of what she did. You know, why, woe was me. I'm white and privileged, but, you know, couldn't get away with this shit. They finally talk to the guy and make him understand that, yeah, she was basically trying to kill you because you had a direct hand in creating the fucking what happens at Judgment Day in 1997 and shit too. So we need you to fucking destroy everything you created as far as the technology you're tampering with, the fucking arm you saved, the chip processor from the old Terminator 2 as well. We need you to fucking dead all that, blow it up, and just get rid of it. They convince him enough to make him realize that he'd be responsible for like about 3 billion people dying. So he's like, well, if it's 3 billion, all right, fine. Count me in, I'll fucking destroy all the evidence. You know, I'll do it on Monday and shit. It's like, no, now you have to do it, basically. So they gotta haul ass, they gotta leave. He's gotta leave his very lavish fucking huge ass home this black scientist dude has. You know, back in 91, you must have been making money to have that kind of fucking house. Not because he's black, but just anybody in general. That's a cool ass fucking house he had. But yeah, so they haul ass. They fucking make it to fucking the lab. I forget if it's called Skynet or Cyber something at this point too, whatever. But they make it there. They're going through everything they gotta go through to fucking destroy the thing as well. And they fucking make it there. So it seems they fucking finally made it. Or they're gonna come through because they rigged fucking barrels of explosives. They rigged the fucking trigger. So he's the one that fucking sets it off once they're good and ready to fucking leave, and that's it, that's that. But no, of course, nosy cops, they fucking gotta come poke their fat noses where no one asked them to and they don't belong. And of course, they triggered a silent alarm. They got the whole fucking LAPD coming and hauling ass to chase after them and see what's going down at the fucking lab and shit too. Trouble, you know, unfolds tenfold, because now John's like, listen, Arnold, you can't kill nobody because you can't be a mindless robotic killer. You gotta fucking be sensical about what you're doing and shit too. So no killing, goddammit. He's like, all right, fine, whatever. And he promises not to fucking kill. So he just proceeds to fucking blow up all these cop cars in a very, again, this is why I stress so much. It's not like I hate green screen. It's not like I hate the fucking movie technology of today. But I just wish we could take it back to those vibes, that energy of back when, where you had to get actual cop cars. You had to actually fucking rent out an abandoned looking building, fix it up to look like what you want to look for the movie, and then blow it up in one try, one set, because you got to calculate, you got to measure properly, and make it all look fucking right for the fucking movie and shit. Now everything can be fucking green screen, post-production, spliced in, you know, pay a nerd enough to fucking sit down in his computer 23 hours out of a 24-hour day to fucking make it look convincing enough. Now, a lot of it does look good nowadays. Again, I'm not gonna fucking say it doesn't, but we're relying way too much on that shit, which is why I understand why Quentin Tarantino uses little to none as much as possible, or I think he's used none as far as special effects and graphics and all that shit's concerned for his shit. So we still got one more movie coming from him. Let's see what he does there. If he finally gives in, or if he's gonna keep that same energy and just fucking have nothing to do with those computer graphics and special effects. I get it with the T-1000. Obviously, for the times, they had to fucking make them as believable as possible, but limited technology, and of course, it's the 90s, so they can only do so much. But still a great job with this fucking scene, because he's destroying, he's annihilating, blowing up this and blowing up that. No one dies, of course, because he kept his promise to John, because now they're fucking buds and shit too. So he fucking gets rid of them. The helicopter has to come, of course. The helicopter has to be fucking nosy. It's all over the place. But then, of course, the cops, as nosy as they fucking are, they make their way up. When they're fucking ready and good to fucking be like, all right, just push the button, let this shit blow up, we're out of here. No, they bust right in and immediately they start shooting at the black man. Swiss cheese him up. He's fucking dropped on the floor, presumably dead, but he's still breathing. He's still holding on to the fucking trigger, the remote, whatever. And he's fucking holding on for dear life. And it's a matter of fucking, wait a second, what the fuck, god damn it. They leave him there. They have no choice but to leave him there. They gotta fucking make their way out the front. They gotta make their way out the elevator. The T-1000's coming. He got fucking word of where they were, of course, too, because the cops knew immediately to radio themselves over the radio. Hey, breaker. Sarah Connor's at this fucking building. So T-1000, if you're listening, haul ass over there, you liquid piece of shit, whatever. And he makes it over there conveniently enough. As they're gonna fucking make it away. As they're gonna get away. And finally let the building blow up. But no, the black guy lets it fucking go. The building's exploding. T-1000's there. Arnold's gotta fucking clear the path again for everybody. He takes a fucking paddy wagon hostage. Well, no, he got rid of the guys. He shot them all in the kneecaps. Smart enough, he didn't kill them. And he fucking takes the paddy wagon. He hauls ass with Sarah and John. They're there, presumably they're fucking safe. But then no, the T-1000 knows a fucking jump from like a second or third story window off a motorbike, a police motorbike, mind you, to a fucking helicopter, make his way on there, convince the fucking pilot, at least he was polite enough to be like, get out. The guy fucking skydives out. I don't know if he fucking died or not because he was kind of fat, so maybe he kind of cushioned his fall, and it wasn't that high off from the ground, so he might have been still alive, but maybe he just like broke his arm or something like that. But then the T-1000 takes over the fucking helicopter. He's fucking chasing after them on the highway, and then we get another fucking epic scene with the goddamn helicopter chasing, tailing, like bumper to bumper almost, with the fucking paddy wagon that Arnold's driving. This is awesome though, because again, this really had to be shot. This really had to fucking happen to make it happen for the fucking movie. A helicopter tailing a fucking paddy wagon like that. Now, imagine 1991, you're filming this shit, and you're the guy or girl they call to be the stunt fucking pilot for the movie. Like, hey, we need someone who's like really, really good maneuvering a fucking helicopter. Like so much they could fucking tail a truck without touching it. Like 5 feet off a highway. Could fucking fly a helicopter right under an overhead passage on a highway and keep it steady and shit and crash into the truck on a highway in a helicopter too. Imagine that fucking resume. You're the fucking one of the coolest guys or girls alive in 1991 at that time. But then of course now green screen shit, they can make that shit like in post-production 5 minutes later and shit. So then those guys now, they have no real purpose, unfortunately. But I would have loved to be one of those guys. So skilled at driving a helicopter, I get called and tapped to do the movie like that and get etched into the fucking annals of history. In this case, Terminator 2. So yeah, he crashes a helicopter, he fucking explodes at shit too. He hijacks a fucking liquid nitrogen train afterwards, the T-1000. Fucking Arnold, John, and Sarah, they're stuck having to grab like a pest control, I don't know what kind of fucking shitty pickup truck from a Christ-loving guy on a highway. They haul ass. They make it to the steel factory finally, and now the fucking Arnold's smart enough to fucking, he loses his grenades and the grenade launcher. He can't reach a shotgun. He grabs an AK presumably. He hops into the fucking front of the truck that the T-1000 hijacked, starts fucking blasting away at him again. Whatever. Swiss cheeses him up to fucking throw him off track. He gets on the fucking truck. He tilts it over. He topples it over. The liquid nitrogen truck is done with. And the fucking liquid nitrogen fucking breaks out the back of the tank. The T-1000 is trying to fucking liquefy and bring himself to solid form again to get after fucking John and Sarah and Arnold again. But the liquid nitrogen apparently grabs a hold of him and breaks him up where he can't even fucking do nothing. And then he's fucking literally chipping away at bits and pieces to the point where he fucking presumably is dead. But then they're in the steel factory, the fucking hot lava, whatever the fuck they're making, kind of attracts to his fucking, being and shit. He comes back to life, he morphs back, and now we still, slowly but surely, he's coming after them all 3 of them. Fucking with that glaring, menacing, white privileged ass, I'm gonna fucking hunt you down. I'm gonna call the police on you in your neighborhood because I just happened to step foot into your vicinity too. Menacing stare right after all of them. And of course, John's running away. And of course, Sarah's ready to fucking fight. And of course, Arnold's ready to fucking fight him back. And finally, go mano a mano. No fucking shotgun advantage for Arnold because he's the older technology, remember. No fucking grenade launcher, no fucking nothing. Mano a mano, the T-1000 is too much for Arnold. Fucking throws him into a fucking, I don't know what you call it, like a thing, like a circular thing, whatever. Traps his arm in there. Arnold's stuck there, has to break his old robotic arm off to fucking go after the T-1000. T-1000's too busy focusing on Sarah and fucking John. My God, at this point, it looks like every fucking step he takes, he's that much closer to just fucking finally killing John, finally killing Sarah, and that's it. There's no fucking faith left for humanity as far as these two white privileged ass individuals are concerned. Because of course, the faith of humanity and the only way to stop the human versus robot wars lies in the hand of fucking goddamn Sarah Connor and John Connor. Finally get to the part where now it's down to fucking Sarah and John. Presumably fucking Arnold's dead, because then he catches up to T-1000 with one arm left. T-1000 makes light work of him. He fucking German suplexes him. He slaps him around a couple of times like he was Moe, Larry, and Curly from the Three Stooges. He's down for the count. He's still trying to inch and crawl for one last bit of hope in that shotgun one level down as he's trying to reach him. Well, of course, T-1000, conveniently enough, has a steel fucking spike, whatever, fucking drives it through him. Arnold's dead. That's it. We see his little robot fucking eye, power down, shut down. That's it. He's out of the fucking picture. So now we're left down to fucking Sarah, one arm, and a fucking like grenade launcher gun, whatever the fuck she had, with John already fucking tucked away, running away from the steel factory with the T-1000 hot in pursuit. So then now Arnold's completely out the picture. So now she's still trying her fucking best. But then the T-1000 drives a spike through her shoulder, tries to get her to call John over to him, but she's not fucking complying, so she just leaves him there, copies her fucking physical form, tries to convince John that he's Sarah. But then Sarah pulls up miraculously, of course, because white privilege powers and fuels everything and all, everybody. So then she blasts him in the fucking head and fucking starts blasting him enough where he's like inching and backing away enough into the molten lava. One more shot's needed to fucking finally drop him into the fucking pit, and she runs out of ammo, or the fucking gun jams, and that's enough white privilege she can use for that moment in time. So then Sarah, all she had left was one shot. And the shit jams. She's depleted her white privilege fucking bar meter, whatever. Like this is Street Fighter versus, Marvel or something. Or Marvel Street Fighter, the other way around, I mean. So then he comes back to life, composes himself now. She's stuck, one arm, dead arm dangling. John's fucking nowhere to be seen and presumably just like pretty much dead as a given. And then of course Arnold comes up on the fucking wheel, whatever, from behind her. She gets down. Oh yeah, John's right there too, I forgot, sorry. So she takes cover with John. Arnold has one last grenade left in the fucking chamber. Blasts his ass finally. T-1000 fucking comes apart. Takes that one final step back and then finally plummets to his fucking death. And that's it finally. He's down. He's out. No more T-1000. He melts. He can't resist the heat. He can't take the fucking smoke. He wanted all the smoke. He got it finally so much he melted. He fucking carbonized and disintegrated. So then finally now, we're like, oh, it's fine now. Humanity's saved. There's no imminent threat T-1000 now. There's no fucking machine uprising, whatever. But then, of course, Arnold has to break the news to them. No, I have to die too, because there's still one chip left in my head, in me. There's still that one chip you got that we took from fucking the lab. We gotta all fucking melt. So that's it. And of course, Arnold has to say the long goodbye. I'll be honest, as many times as I've seen this shit, this part still gets me every time, with a tear in my eye. Every time I see that big, thick paws, overgrown, robotic, sounding already ass Austrian man dangle by the fucking chain and slowly drop into, of course, his untimely death, because by choice, of course, he has to save humanity as well. It always gets me, man, because he did so much for John the second time around. When the first time around in Terminator 1, he's hot in pursuit. It's practically a horror movie as it's defined, because he's so adamant about getting and tailing and killing Sarah. He fails, obviously. But this time around, he's there to protect them both, with the sole purpose of ideally protecting John. But with that comes, a combo deal, 2 for 1. Sarah, of course, white privilege. It gets all bundled in like that, like a fucking Spectrum TV, internet, and phone shit, which I don't need the phone or fucking TV Spectrum. I'm good with just the internet, which is already fucking like $80 a month. But yeah, that's Spectrum fucking issues I got with them. Fuck Spectrum, by the way. So yeah, he drops down and then Arnold dies. That's it. Done deal. humanity saved, and then it closes out with Sarah. I forget word for word what she said, but basically now I can look at the future with a bit of hope as far as where humanity stands or where we can go as a culture. And of course, Karen culture, white privilege, and all this other shit develops too. So then of course, if we still got 8 years until we're knee deep in the war in 2029, humans versus robots, I don't see it happening too much. Because, you know, like I said, Back to the Future said by 2014, 2016, we'd have flying cars. And of course, all we got stuck with right now is like guys obsessed with real dolls, if you saw that in the news recently. And then 8 years from now, we'll be lucky if we get, I don't know, like, we're gonna definitely have like fuckable robots or something like that. Like, I know we got the real dolls, we got the blow up dolls and all that shit too, but someone's gonna make the next step in real doll technology where they're gonna be able to get up, move, like wash the dishes, so that all these incels and cucks at home can, like, you know, program the shit where she's gonna be washing the dishes conveniently enough in like a French maid's outfit by the time they get back home from the office, so that she's also deaf when they come in and open the door, so they can creep up behind and get a quickie in, literally fuck your robot, and then go about their business, and then, I don't know, Twitch stream for the rest of the fucking night, because that's ideally a nerd's fucking utopia or whatever. But yeah, overall, I mean, listen, Terminator 2, I put it above Terminator 1. I love Terminator 1 too. It's a classic. They're both classics. There's no denying that. So I'm already giving away, I guess, ideally the score. I'm going to give it based off the ears for later on. But Terminator 1 was a horror movie. Terminator 1 was scary. Terminator 1 was fucking like thriller vibes, like stalker vibes. And it was just so cool in itself too, as well as like he was just straight up a killer machine. You were pretty much convinced there's no way this lonely white woman with like jacked shoulders and shredded the fucking bits is gonna be able to stop him. But she is able to in the first one. Second time around, you don't think, if we're talking wrestling terms, heel to face turn. Ooh, boy, what a face turn. Arnold saves the fucking day. Saves all humanity and shit. And he does it in a way where it's always fun. 2+ hours. You don't fucking feel it go by. That's a great movie. That's the recipe, the formula for a great movie right there. There's little to nothing to complain about with this film. Of course, this is my opinion. Anybody else who's seen it can vary. But of course, what I'm saying is what goes here, because this is who this been watching, of course. But as far as T2, I just put it above T1 just slightly. Just like I put Rocky 2 over Rocky 1 just slightly, because it's the comeback story. You don't expect this shit to happen. You think it might, but then it does. And when it does, it's done just right. Like chef's kiss, beautifully, perfectly. Like how you envision it, and even more than that, and better on top of that. So your mind is blown. The special effects maybe don't hold up so great, but give or take, it's 1991 versus 2001, 30 years later. So of course, it's not as pretty as it was back then probably, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It's still cool because everything else encompasses and makes up for, okay, the graphics weren't that great, or they don't hold up like 10 years later even. Kenneth Stones definitely was scary. I love the police station scene. Definitely didn't see him coming back as a face in 2. Yeah, exactly. So the face turn, because that's why I forgot to mention that earlier. That's what I was envisioning or imagining what it would have been like. I was young. I was like 6 years old when this came out. I would have loved to have seen Terminator in theaters when it came out back in 91, just to be like, and hopefully having already seen the first one, expecting, okay, Arnold's gonna fucking try to kill off the T-1000 just so he could be the one to kill Sarah and John, but then no, he already makes it clear from Jump Street that he's there to kill the T-1000 because his order is to protect John and Sarah on top of that. So when they meet in the hallway for the first time, and he tells John, get down so he can blast away a T-1000, it's like, whoa. It's like, that would have been like a pop, as far as like a wrestling fan talk is concerned too. Or like, wow, face turn out of nowhere. Did Sarah do her son? I think I read that somewhere in the later 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever Terminators they did that. Maybe? like something crossed paths, but then there's another thing where there's like alternate timelines, and I stopped caring about the franchise, whichever one it was with Common in it, because of all things, if Common, shout out to Common, I love him as a rapper. He got kind of annoying now with all the overexposure he's been getting as of late with the books and the fucking movies and shit too. If Common's the kind of guy that can survive the fucking machine versus human war, and I can't, there's something wrong with humanity as of right now. And I love Common, but I think I've got a better chance of surviving than him, because what's he gonna fucking do? Cipher the fucking robots to death? I would hope not. But you know, they stand no chance unless they like downloaded like Papoose and fucking like, I don't know, who was a really good rapper back when? Like somebody else's fucking whole lyrical archive, the battle Common in return. But yeah, I think that might have been Terminator Genesis or one of those two. I fell asleep during that one like 2 times, so nothing to really speak highly of for that one. But yeah, there's little to none bad to say about T2. This is me speaking, of course. So, of course, in that, I would have to go ahead and be honest enough to say that if you trash this movie, I think there might be something wrong with you, or you don't appreciate movies. I'm not saying that as a critic or an expert of any sorts. Listen, I still don't know what the fucking order half the time when I'm getting food at the theaters. I'm that much of a fat ass. I'm that much of an idiot. So it's always, I know what's on the fucking menu: popcorn, nachos and cheese, or the hot dogs and the pretzels and shit, but I still take my time like a moron to see, what am I in the mood for this time around? Oh, what kind of movie am I watching? What time of day is it? Is it cheat day? Did I go to the gym? Whatever, like a woman would. So yeah, don't take my word for it as a critic, but I'm saying T2 and T1 are those 1 and 2 that you can be like, just about anybody will like this shit. So with that being said, without further ado, Terminator 2 Judgment Day from 1991, according to who this been watching, me, who this specifically, I gotta give it 2 out of 2 ears. 2 out of 2 ears. There's no room for error. You're wrong if you say it's anything less than a classic. It's already in the fucking archives. It's already been fucking restored as a piece of cinematic history. Changed the game. Yes, there was 3. Yes, there was 4, 5, 6. The one with Common. The one where fucking Sarah comes back. The one where presumably fucking Sarah sleeps with her own son to fucking save humanity because maybe they're like the only guy and girl left. I don't know. But then at some point they fucking twist and turn that timeline so much where Arnold's forced to come back this clusterfuck or whatever happened. And even he's probably like scratching his head like, what happened here? I think it's the best Terminator movie because the time and era came out. The rest just seemed like they were trying to cap. Yeah, basically. T3 had no reason to come out. And surprisingly, 84, 91, the time gap between 1 and 2 was enough time to like put together a good story, let it breathe, let people remember 1 finally so that 2 can get a good enough build and hype up to it. What was it, 2003 we got Terminator 3, and again, the only good part about 3 to me was at least the fucking female Terminator. I forget her fucking name because I think that might have been the only thing she ever done. The Terminatrix, as a lot of fans of that one call it. The Defenders of Terminator 3. They're out there, they exist somehow, some way.